LAFLAMME lifts, bro. You bench so much. You bench 455 at 17. I only bench 135 and I'm 14. How do I bench as much as you? Yo, I'm so glad you asked, little Timmy. So basically, this video, I'll be showing you guys how to bench way more than you do right now. So like, let's say you're at 135. To use all these tips, I promise you, you will hit 225 in no time. If you're at 225, you'll hit 315. And then if you're at 315, 4 or 5.
Yo, what's up, YouTube? So basically this video is just how to get your bench up and shit. So I'm just gonna say all this like freestyle and let's get into it. So number one for your bench, best advice I would give you is you gotta bench more. So most people, you know, if you do PPL split, upper lower split, you're probably like, you're only benching twice a week, you know what I mean? You're hitting upper body twice a week, you're benching twice a week. Best advice I could give you is throw in like a third day for benching. So yeah, let's say you're doing PPL, you know, you're benching on both the push days. Be on like your leg day or like even like your pull day. If you throw in an extra bench day, you don't have to go to failure, you know, just to get like, you know, just the form better, and you're just like practicing the movement. Because the best thing I would say for bench is it's not like a bicep curl where it's just like you're just doing the same movement. It's literally a skill. There's like so many things that go into bench. So like yeah, so that'd be number one. Number two for bench, I would say, is do your variations. You know, most of you guys are only benching 225, 275, 315, and you look at guys like me and like whatever, all the other teams on TikTok that bench like 4 or 5 and shit, and you guys are like, yo, how the fuck are they benching so much? This guy's 16, 17, whatever, right? It's because like we're not just benching. There's a lot of like accessories and variations. So my favorite variations I like doing are, number one, Larson press is very good. So that would be no leg drive when you're doing bench. Number two, I would say like spotto press. So spotto press is, say you're benching, you bring the bar down, and instead of going all the way down to your chest, you're pausing like an inch off your chest. So basically when you're benching, you know, if you're going for your 1 rep max and you're trying to hit a new PR, if you're gonna fail, most people fail like right off the chest. So if you're practicing like holding the bar for like 2 seconds pause, like you're gonna be doing a pause. If you're holding it, then it's gonna get like that part of the movement a lot stronger. So when you're benching, basically when you're off the chest, it'll be a lot better. Number three, this is probably my personal favorite, would be static holds. I don't know, static holds, what it does to you basically is it strengthens your nervous system. So, you know, if you can hold up like 600 pounds, 700 pounds like me, when you go down to 4 or 5, it literally feels like air. So that's really good. For static holds, I would say do it like once a week. And to start off, you do like 120% of your 1 rep max. So like, say your max is 200, you start with like 240, but then whatever, eventually you're going to be progressively overloading it. So week by week, just keep going up until whatever. Your nervous system's going to get a lot stronger. And then also a little trick I like to do when I PR, this is me personally, is I'll do a static hold right before my PR. But the thing is, that would be like my main static hold. That static hold, it won't, let's say like, I do 7 plates usually for static hold. Okay, so that'd be it. Oh, accessories. Accessories are very important. I don't really do them. I used to do them a lot, but dips, you know, if you look at like Small Guy Conan or like whatever those guys, they swear by dips, you know what I mean? It is really good. It gets your medial and lateral head of your tricep really strong, which is like the part of the tricep which is doing all the pushing, which is very important. Yeah, you can treat dips just like as you would bench press, so prioritize it. Another accessory I really like is heavy tricep pushdowns, but the way I do it is I'll do V-bar. So if you do V-bar, instead of like a rope will hit your, like the long head. And the long head doesn't like contribute to the pushing as much. So if you're doing like a V-bar with like your elbows flared out slightly, like you're not gonna go like this, but like this would be like a rope where it's just like up and down, and then V-bar is like slightly flared, which I really like, and that'll hit your medial and lateral head really good. So do your fucking V-bars, go heavy on them. Another like tip I'd give for training in general is I wouldn't do like, I don't know, honestly, I haven't done sets of like more than 10 in like forever. I'd keep all your reps like 8 and below, just to like minimize the fatigue. I know it's like stupid, like, well, minimize the fatigue, but like it is pretty true, because like if you can recover quicker and not like fatigue yourself, that means you can bench more often, which means you progress a little bit quicker. I'm now just gonna speak from like my personal experience. I'm not gonna like bring like facts into it because the science contradicts kind of what I'm saying, but in my opinion, there's a huge difference. Like, it's not even funny. It's literally night and day. If you're gooning, I know like on my TikTok and shit, I'll say like, oh, I'm gooning this and that, but like, if you actually like, if you're addicted to that, bro, and then you go like days without doing it, the reason how I quit, like, I was so addicted, I can't lie, but the reason how I quit is like, every time I would do it, like the night before, my workout for the next day would be fucking shit. And when I wouldn't do it, it was literally so noticeable. So like, whatever that. Okay. Next thing I'd say is definitely like your diet. Your diet, in my opinion, is more important than your training. I wouldn't like, I don't like saying that because it kind of makes it like your training's not important, when, in my opinion, I think they're both very important. So I wouldn't make a comparison between the two. But your diet, eat very nutrient-dense foods. If you're eating foods like beef, eggs, You get fruits in for like vitamins and shit. That will it'll optimize all your hormones. And if you're eating high protein, you're gonna max out your recovery, which is really good. If like you're sleeping well, obviously. But yeah, nutrient dense foods, it will optimize your home, optimize like things outside the gym to keep you like your test high and your hormones good. Then when you go in the gym, you'll feel way better. A good rule I like to have is outside the gym is literally like 80% of it. So like, if you're doing everything outside of the gym right, let's say when you go in the gym, you do like a couple things wrong, it'll make up for it. As if, or compared to like, let's say you're in the gym, you're doing everything properly, but you go home, eat like shit. Fucking, this isn't like for bench, this is just like working out in general. Before you work out, make sure you get your carbs in. So let's say like the whole day, if your macros are like 400 grams of carbs, you want to at least have half of your carbs before the workout. So all the glycogen in your muscles are full, which is basically like your body's energy. So if you max out your carbs, you max out how strong you are. Because it does make a difference. If you ever like, if you work out fasted, you'll notice like you're not pushing heavy weight at all. Compared to like, let's say you've been eating all day, you've been eating a lot of carbs, and then at night you go work out, like you feel way stronger. If you're only benching like, my rule I like to say to people is if you're not benching at least 350 in a raw, I would not use these because you're not like proficient in the bench press enough to even like consider using these. But if you do want to boost your bench instantly, like today, you'll get yourself some Goblin Gear wraps. These are the 4Xs, they have the 5Xs, were a little bit stronger. But if you go to Goblin Gear, these are all like, I've tried a lot of wraps, these are like by far the best I've ever tried. They're very stiff, you know. If you get these and like, you're going heavy, like genuinely these can put on like pounds to your bench. But in my opinion, if you're not benching at least 350 in a row, or like 275 minimum, let's say you've only been in the gym for like 2 years, so you might not hit 350 in a row.
Yo, I can't lie, I forgot to mention to you guys, I do have a code for Goblin Gear. So if you go to Goblin Gear and use code 1 right here on the screen, you get 10% off, which is pretty cool, you know?
But for the wraps though, I wouldn't use them every time I bench. I did that for like months and then I plateaued really hard. But then, whatever. I started training a lot stricter with my bench and shit. Like I pause. Oh, another thing too, when you're benching, this might sound like very contradictory to like how I bench, like in my videos and shit, and like other people on TikTok, but I do not ego lift. You know what I mean? So, let's say like your butt's really high in the air every time you bench. Like that's just, it's like taking away from like the growth of your actual bench. You can like, it's okay if your butt comes off a little bit because of your leg drive, but if I were you and you're benching, I'd pause in the chest, 1 or 2 seconds, and then, yeah. Also, another underrated tip that I don't see many people doing, I put hella people on my gym. If you go to my gym, you definitely see me do this. It's the mat on the bench method. So let's say you're going to a commercial gym like Crunch or whatever, their benches are very slippery. So let's say you're using leg drive, you will slip. So the solution to that, unless you have like a fucking, whatever, like a bench pad, which most people don't have or even know about, you get a mat, a yoga mat, and you put it on the bench. So when you're leg driving into the bench, if your traps into the bench, you're not going to slide off the bench because it's way more grippy. So that is very good. That tip right there, if you go next time you bench, actually use it. And if you're pushing really hard with your legs, you will notice a big difference because less tension is getting leaked out. What else would I say? Oh yeah, sleep. Sleep, in my opinion, I think it goes sleep, diet, training. Sleep is when you're doing all your recovering. If you're just like, if you're barely sleeping, you're not recovering. If you're not recovering, you're not growing. And if you're not recovering, you can't bench as often. So again, you're not gonna be growing. Yeah, I mean, this is like a little bit less important, but I'd still do it. Is prioritize like your lat training. Because when you're benching, your lats is like what's stabilizing you and like giving you a proper platform to press off of. So if you get big lats, then you'll have a bigger platform, which means you'll be more stable, which means you'll be able to press hard. That's what you want. I mean, that is just like my basic tips, you know. If you guys want, you can comment under the video, and I will record like a whole new video in the gym, actually going over like form and everything you need to know about like how to properly bench. Because like, I can't lie, bench, like I said earlier, it's a skill. It's not just like a movement you're doing. There's so many things with like, you're tracking your scapula, you're pressing with your legs, you're bracing your core. Your bar path is so important, and most people don't know about it. There's so many things. So if you guys want that video about the form, let me know in the comments, and then I got you. I mean, yeah, that's just some good tips. You know, most people don't know most of those things. So I would say, yeah.